Hi, and welcome to Our Small Table. Today, to finish off our Valentine's Day meal, we're making marbled mint brownies. Here's our finished dish. Let's see how we got here. This recipe is going to call for one specialty ingredient. This is peppermint crunch baking chips. It's possible that this is a seasonal only item. This bag had been in my cupboard for a little bit before I wrote the recipe. If you can't find the peppermint crunch, the recipe is just as good using the creme de menthe, which is not seasonal. And if you still can't find this, then you can just buy the mints, the little mint patties that this brand makes, and chop them up into morsels yourself. I've already melted the unsweetened chocolate and the butter because it needed to cool, and it's much cooler now. You can do this in another bowl, but I just go ahead and do it right in the pan so that I don't have to wash another bowl. And since, even though this has been cooling, it's still got a little bit of warmth to it. As soon as I add the egg, I start beating right away so that the egg won't get too hot. Get all the last little bit out. I only lightly beat the egg just so that it would be more easily incorporated when I added it. And our vanilla. Get those mixed in. The oven is preheated to 350 degrees Fahrenheit. Add our sugar and the flour. And get this all combined. And as always, you want to avoid over mixing so that you don't end up with a tough finished product. It's okay to have some lumps. The chocolate chips are optional, but I do like to have a little bit of extra chocolate in my brownies. So we're just going to fold those in. And make sure that there's no unincorporated flour hiding in the spoon. We've got the pan lined with parchment paper. You can use several different sizes of pans. You can use a small loaf pan. If you have various sizes of small glass dishes, that's what I'm using. This one is about 7 inches by about 5 inches. If you change the size of the pan, you'll have to adjust the cook time to go with it. I'm just going to pour the batter right into the lined loaf pan. If you're someone who likes really crispy edges on your brownie, and a lot of them, then you can forego the parchment paper and spray with nonstick cooking spray. I find that that makes my brownies a little bit greasier on the bottom than I want them, so I use the parchment paper. And that's all we got to do. Go straight into the oven, and then we'll be back for the last couple steps. This has come straight out of the oven after a toothpick has come out clear. For this size baking pan, it was in for about 25 minutes, and I rotated it halfway through the baking time. And you want to immediately sprinkle the baking chips over the top, spreading them out gently. You want to do it absolutely the second it comes out of the oven, pushing up to the paper as much as possible, as quickly as possible. And then you're going to walk away from this. It's cooling on a wire rack, and we're just not going to touch it until it's cool. It's going to be at least 5 minutes. And then we shall return for the very last step. Okay, everything's been cooling for several minutes, so you just want to take a knife or a metal spatula and swirl these mints over the top of the brownies. This is why the peppermint crunch is best for Valentine's, because you get this nice pink and red and white swirl. But the flavor is just as good if you use the creme de menthe flavor. It just gives you a green and brown swirl instead. Now try and cover the brownies as much as you can. Make it look pretty. But you don't want to do too much or you'll lose that nice little swirl. And then you would let these set on the counter for about 2 hours. You don't want to put it into the fridge, partly because when you put your brownies into the fridge, they get really hard, and not in the way that people who like crunchy brownies like, but just really hard, and because the mint won't set up the same way. So just let it sit on the counter. And then once it's cooled, you can remove by lifting up on your parchment paper lining. Thanks for joining me at OurSmallTable. The recipe I've used today is linked in the video description and is available at OurSmallTable.com. Next time we're going to be making something a little more exotic for our channel. Click subscribe so you don't miss out.